As a physician, everybody looks at him. What we see as doctors is that he's older than the 73 years he says he is. So? Absolutely.
He's older than 73?
Absolutely. He should be 84, 85.
Really?
Absolutely.
Wow.
You can't hide age.
You can tell that by me.
You can't, yeah, absolutely. You can't look at me and say I'm in my 30s or 40s. Awesome. No. So we look at him, he's older than the 73 years he says he is, absolutely. I have an older brother, my eldest brother is 74, 75. He definitely looks much, much healthier than our president. So our president is ducking his age. He's not 73. I had 10, 12 years more.
Oh, really?
You could see that, absolutely. Wow. You could see that. And look at the way he is. You see him, you see his, look at what happened in Turkey. He didn't trip. Look at the way he's walking. You cannot hide age. I mean, look, age, we all age, and it is an honor and privilege that's not given to many.
This is Naija Unfiltered on SYMFONI TV. My name is Olawale Oluwade, and my guest is Professor Usman Yusuf, Professor of Haematology, Oncology, and Bone Marrow Transplantation. Former Executive Secretary of the National Health Insurance Scheme. Prof, good afternoon. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice having you on the show once again.
Thank you.
Without further ado, let's get right into our conversation. We have quite a number of burning issues to cover. There was a sort of political upheaval over earlier on in the week, on Sunday to be precise. The coalition party, African Democratic Congress, ADC, seemed to have ruptured against all expectations with the exit of former Governor of Anambra State, Mr. Peter Obi, incidentally, Labour Party presidential candidate in 2023, together with Dr. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, former governor of Kano State. They both left the ADC. And they left with a number of people, even National Assembly members. Give us your take on this exit from the ADC. How did you receive the news?
And I'm surprised people are surprised. I honestly wasn't surprised. We were expecting it.
Really?
Absolutely. I honestly was not surprised. They didn't come in good faith. They all came wanting to be the big boy in the block, and that's not politics. Politics is essentially consensus and networking. But it didn't come to me as a surprise. It didn't. Absolutely, it didn't. I was expecting it. Was it for God and country? No. Was it for the citizens? No. What is it for? It is for themselves. Absolutely themselves. I'm probably doing the bidding of their master. We'll talk about that. But it wasn't for God and country, it was for themselves. They didn't come into this marriage in good faith, and they jumped ship. And I honestly was not surprised. And to be honest, it's not going to change the
dynamics.
Absolutely not. And I was telling people, I'm not in the thick of what they are doing, the machine in the ADs, the coalition. And I was telling them, you cannot have this kind of people that are not committed in your system. They will end up being moles. So I'm not surprised. And it's good riddance, with due respect to this gentleman.
That's very hard. That's very hard from you. One of the many reasons Mr. Peter Obi gave for the exit was that the APC, of course, the political party and the government are engaged in destabilization of opposition parties, the ADC, Labour Party, PDP. He also alluded to toxicity within the ADC, mutual distrust, and then, deep suspicion amongst the leading candidates and all of that. How do you read this? Are those excuses germane? Do they sound plausible or sensible to you?
Just looking for excuses. But the real question and answer is both these two gentlemen are afraid of competition. Real men don't run away, don't walk away from a good fight. They don't. Peter Obi has never had to work for his ticket. The Abga ticket he got was handed to him. So he ran, became a governor in Anambra State. The Labour Party ticket he got in 2022, he didn't go through primaries. It was handed to him. The vice presidential ticket was handed to him by Atiku. So he's not seen real intra-party competition. He's who I call, with all due respect, the spoiled child of Nigerian politics. Everything is being given to him. He can't stand the real fight where the big boys come into the ring. He can't. And Rabi Musa Kwankwaso has been a local hero. He is the alpha and omega there, whatever he said in Kano. That was then. The dynamics are changing. And this combination is diminished him. I said several times, this combination has diminished him not only in Kano, but throughout the north. So their calculation, they are traders. They're looking at numbers. Oh, Peter Obi, I got this many million. If I add it with this many million from Kano, I will scale, I will win. And this is the arrogance of politicians. And I see that all over, as if they think these millions of people that voted for them 4 years ago are their personal property, are their loot from spoils of war. They are there waiting for me. Each time I call them in, they will come. What has he done? What has any one of these people done to warrant the trust of the same electorates that voted for them 4 years ago? So things have changed, and they'll all be surprised. All politicians, you have to, politics and the electorate all over the world, they are like flower. You have to go and keep watering them and show them and do the right thing. You haven't done anything, you expect, oh, I've locked 8 million, oh, I've locked 1 million. So if I add this and this, it will be this. They are not.
So, if I get you right, this combination of Peter Obi and Kwankwaso is not going anywhere in your reckoning. Because there's OK mania all over the place now. There's a massive wave of OK mania sweeping across the length and breadth of Nigeria.
Not where I come from.
Oh, really?
Not in the real north.
Wow.
Not. It's all an Abuja thing, southeastern thing, youth thing. That is what I say. These politicians don't understand Nigeria. Just like Baba-Ahmed Tinubu doesn't understand Nigeria. All his politics is Lagos politics. Kwankwaso's politics is Kano politics. But you have to look at global politics vis-a-vis what Tinubu has, the damage is caused in this country, and how that has affected people. People are in a very foul mood. Very foul mood. So this OK dancing, they can dance OK, or it's just music. It's just music. They will sell records, but it won't change anything.
Former VP candidate to Peter Obi in 2023 election, Yusuf Datti Baba-Ahmed, strongly chided his principal, Peter Obi. I watched that interview, I was stunned, Of all the things he said, he says his leaving the ADC does not reflect strong or positive leadership virtues or qualities on the part of Peter Obi. Do you share the same perspective?
Right, you see, leaders and real men, you don't run away from a good fight. I'll give you an example. When I was at the NHIS, I was supposed to be there 5 years and do all this katakata, I did 3 years. Every day from day one to day whatever was one fight after the other. Right, petition, this is the house, and I stopped taking newspapers back home because I'll see my wife reading it and say, oh, today they said you stole 10 billion. And then I'll say, 10 billion? Oh, they don't know how to do calculation. No, I'll tell her, I'll joke with her, I say they don't even know how to do maths. It's just 15 billion I stole. She hated it from day one to day zero. After a while, she told me, for goodness sake, I should not put her and our children through all of this.
In harm's way.
Right. We should just, not even harm's way, just this bad publicity.
Yes.
They should just walk away from this. And I said, no, you don't walk away. I'm not going to walk away and leave a stain. This stain, my family, you and my children. Real men stay and fight. And I'm still fighting it. You fight for what is right. So this is a leader, you're going to hand over a country of over 200 million that runs away when the party is rattling him. This is a country, you come, you will get blown from left, right, everywhere. So you throw in the towel and run. So fellow Nigerians, what this is showing, the reflection on these two gentlemen, Peter Obi and Rabi Musa Kwankwaso, is that they are cowards. They can't fight the real fight when it comes. And Nigeria now, we need a very strong person, a person that will look at adversity and fight it and do the right thing. That's all we are asking, not a person who things get hard, he runs away. He who fights and runs away will live to fight another day. We don't have time in Nigeria. We've had a lot of damage from this government over the last 3-4 years. We need a leader who can confront real issues and not be scared and run away. So this is cowardice, if you ask me. And cowards die many times before their death. The valiant never taste death but once. So you fight the real fight, especially for your people, not for oneself. They're fighting the fight for themselves, wanting to be president. We decide. We the citizens, we the people will decide, not somebody jumping from one to the other. So both of I've met Peter Obi once. And I met Rabi Musa Kwankwaso 2 times, not on a very personal. So I don't know them. I see them. Rabi Musa Kwankwaso is a very egotistic gentleman, full of egos, right? And because he has a cult, there is no one that has that cult. Although President Muhammadu Buhari, the most popular president in this country, bar none, did not have that kind of, with all the heart and all that. Anyway, but this is their personality. And Peter Obi is seeing himself as a senior partner in this marriage because he's bringing in those 8 billion votes. Oh, was it 8 or 7? Right, 6 million votes. And Rabi Musa Kwankwaso will just bring in a measly 1 point something million. So he's seeing himself, he must be the senior partner. His marriage with in this ticket diminishes him. I say, for goodness sake, you got nothing to do but to go and be a second in command. Because that's where you belong. You don't have as many votes, as much votes as Peter Obi has. So your being second in command diminishes you in the eyes of the electorates in the North. And people are saying, well, so what's the North looking for? If it's a vice president, we already have one. So what are you coming to tell us? Anyway, I don't think this thing will work. They will fight it out themselves. But the question is, who are they working for? This is what Nigerians should interrogate. Who are they working for? Who put this marriage together? Because this is all a done deal before even they came to ADC.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you need to look at what is not said. Who are they working for? And they are working for somebody. And we will interrogate that and come back to you and tell Nigerians they are not their own men. They are working for somebody. And it's not going to work. Nigeria is bigger than any one person or 2 persons. We have over 2 million Nigerians in deep crisis. Over 130 million Nigerians are in multi-dimensional poverty. The other day I saw a clip of a young consultant pediatrician in a federal government hospital. Clip, no more than 5 minutes, saying, the doctor in me has died long ago. Why? Because he says every day he goes to hospital, he sees mothers sitting by the bedside, watching their children, taking their last breath. Why? Because they cannot afford the 5,000 naira for oxygen. in a federal government hospital. Federal government of Nigeria, where the president is now in France for medical care, where the president before then was in the UK for medical care. Our leaders are spending so much money on themselves and their families, whereas our people are dying every day. We have just saw today in the news, 33 kids died of meningitis in Sokoto. Diseases we shouldn't see because there are immunizations. But the uptake of immunizations across this country is less than 40%.
Less than 40%.
Less than 40%. See how much was given. The Ministry of Health allocated capital, we talked about 280 billion. What they were released, what they were given was 36 million for all the hospitals in this country. How can you take care of this? No conscience in our leaders. It truly bothers me every day. How do you go to sleep? So this is what we are seeing. Let's go back to politics instead of...
Sad. Okay, let's pivot from that a bit. And there are indications that some of the ambassadors of President Tinubu, the ambassadors he nominated pretty late in the day, many have said. And then, and the argument then was that coming that late, when the first term was winding down, that they would have issues. But of course, government spokespersons, he said, no, blah, 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 they will get accreditations, their letters of credence, they will get, and all of that. Anyway, there are feelers that some of these ambassadorial nominees have either been rejected or been put on hold by the receiving countries. What's your comment on this, Prof?
Yeah, you see, that's the reason I didn't submit your name for...
Even without my consent.
No, I mean, seriously, we've been screaming all this time since this government came into power that Nigeria is not represented in the committee in the world. They go, the president and his team goes into the world and say they have signed multi-billion-dollar contract. Who is going to follow it up? If you don't have an ambassador there, you have no presence. Yeah, you have charges and you have members, but it's different from an ambassador. Nigeria has not been represented all across the world. And then you're doing it this late. What was the reason? Oh, the former minister of what's his name, of external affairs, who also has now resigned, looking for governor, said it's cost and all that. Go to our missions all across the world. Pathetic. They're having problems in paying electricity. The workers there can't pay school fees. Why? There's money in Nigeria. You don't think Nigeria's image is dented by our missions out there not being taken care of? Parking tickets alone in New York and Manhattan and London is a big hassle for our missions. And then finally you send them out a year before you leave office. Who is going to accept them? Who is going to accept them? I mean, I don't understand. This government, they just came in as JGCs and they haven't learned a thing. They haven't brought in people that will help them, tell them how the world runs. They are just here believing their propaganda. It's truly sad. And I've seen the name of a few gentlemen that were rejected, the nominee. We need representations out there in the world. And our nominees being rejected doesn't say well of Nigeria. I understand India. They have their rules. 2 years before a new government, we don't accept. We want a solid government we can do business with. This government, you're just a lame duck. And we are working very hard to make sure you don't come back in 2027. So what's an ambassador doing there just for a year? For goodness sake. These are men and women that have work to do, men and women of integrity. You throw them in, and I understand you say, oh, Wike will give them plot in Abuja. Is this, what have they done? They think governance is a joke. Governance is no joke. I mean, they are not, they just, I don't know. I don't understand them. They are not, they don't have the class, they are not ready for the big stage. They truly are not. And it's time for them to exit.
I want you to tie this issue of lack of proper, adequate representation, effective representation by ambassadors in foreign missions to the crisis going on right now in South Africa, these xenophobic attacks. Nigerians have been not only being attacked, they have been killed. Businesses have been burnt in South Africa. And this has become a recurring decimal. And recently there was, 2 days ago, there was a debate on the floor of the National Assembly for the first time, and then the end of the day, the resolution was that they would present a delegation will go there to meet their South African counterparts, and the delegation will be led by the Senate President and all of that. Prof, can you speak about this?
The president just pressed the politics button. You just guys keep talking politics. I'll be there arrested and getting my medical treatment. But you don't care. Governance is on cruise now. I mean, it's not only in South Africa, you see, it's in India, it's everywhere, it's in Thailand, it's in Malaysia, it's in Libya. Nigerians have been treated like, look at even in Dubai the other day. So Nigeria as a country is not represented, and Nigerian interests and the people in Nigeria, our nationals in those countries are not represented. Who do you go to? Let me talk about this xenophobia in South Africa. It's a big shame because Nigeria was in the forefront. I was a student in the 70s in ABU's area. I remember how all students across all these countries were in the forefront of fighting for the liberation of South Africa against apartheid South Africa. South Africa, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Angola. The president, General, what's his name? General Murtala Mohammed, the speech he gave at the OAU, the liberation of Angola. Yes. Nigeria was in the forefront. These young kids in South Africa, this xenophobic kids in South Africa, going after people of other countries, and mostly blacks, Malawians, Lesotho, Zimbabweans, and Nigerians, but not any other non-colored foreigner in that country. It's a big shame. I mean, their leaders need to tell them how much money Nigeria spent, how much effort Nigeria spent. We lost a president. A president was assassinated largely because of his stand on Angola, liberation of Angola. We went to embassies, American and British embassies with placards as young teenage students then in the 70s fighting for South Africa, liberation of South Africa. And these stupid kids think that Nigerians came there or foreigners came there to anyway. So, Nigerian government is failing all our citizens all across the world, including us. And its lack of representation. Well, you're calling the ambassador, the South African ambassador here in Nigeria to talk to him. But there in South Africa, you don't have anybody to advocate for your people. It's a big shame. And this Nigeria must stand firmly against this xenophobic attack for its people. We see that. Even across here in Niger, we are not represented. Or just across the border, we are not represented. Benin Republic, we are not represented. Ghana. And we call ourselves Ghana. Look at another xenophobic. They are saying Nigerians must live out of Ghana. We don't have representation, and we are here kidding ourselves with the giants of Africa. And many of these African countries, we still give them aid. We still help them. But we don't have representation. We are not acting the way the big brother we need to act. No, this government is not representing us nationally and internationally. It's only representing itself and its cronies. It's really sad. Nigeria needs to do a lot more.
Prof, okay, let's leave that and come back to politics. The APC.
APC, that's Tinubu.
Tinubu, the ruling party.
There are so many A's.
Yes, so we have to be careful. So the ruling party, APC, they've waived screening, presidential screening. In the first place, he's the only one running, and then someone got a form for him for 100 million, and then they've waived screening for him. He's not going to be screened. So critical issues, age, mental acuity and all of that, no questions asked and all of that. In the light of performance, what we've seen in the last 3 years now, Prof, what exactly is the APC trying to hide that they do not want the president to come out, to be interrogated, even within themselves, the APC, to say, okay, yeah, what are you going to do differently in the second term and all of that? What are they trying to
A lot
hide?
of things. I mean, from the outset, we all Nigerians, we let this nonsense happen. There's the forgery. We don't have anybody that will say we went to the same primary school or secondary school or even university with President Baba-Ahmed Tinubu. The papers he presented were forged. We allowed that to happen. Shouldn't have gone through that. All he needed was secondary school. It didn't happen. The drug issue, it's real. He paid dearly, heavily for the courts to hide this from coming. You forfeited over 400,000 drug-related money, and this is a person we are electing as president. The Americans know that is why the American government has little or no respect for our president, because they know any leader that comes to the Oval Office to see the president of the United States, they must have his absolutely. Must have his full see what is it now. So they know. So they see you. And the FBI know, the DEA, the DEA, they all know. They all have your record. So these are records before he came. And all his associates too. Some of them are fugitives, right? And then his stewardship. 3 years, what have we seen? Yeah. What we have seen in these 3 years, nothing but a corruption-ridden, hardships inflicting, tribalistic, nepotistic, and state capturing government. We've seen nothing. Say no more after this. So they don't want to interrogate that before they. All right, but we're going to do that on the campaign trail. We're going to see how anybody will sell him. They can all cover in their party, and they've given him the ticket because they have no choice. They're all complicit in this heist we are seeing in this country. But it's our right, it's our privilege, the constitutionally guaranteed right to question all of this, and that we will do. We will do.
If there was, if the president is subjected through, to proper scrutiny, primaries and all of that, and questions are asked about his state of health. Yeah, health could be personal, but then when you become a leader, it's no longer personal or private, it becomes a public issue that the public needs to know, So, the APC says that their constitution allows them to waive whatever, but are the public not, don't we have a right to know exactly what is going on?
Right, and to be fair to President Baba-Ahmed Tinubu and his team, he's not the first one to be hiding their health. During Eradua's time, they were not open. During Buhari's time, they were not open to Nigerians about the health of our president, right? And then Baba-Ahmed Tinubu will look at you and say, well, late President Eradua and late President Muhammadu Buhari, their records were not put to scrutiny. Why do you want to? But you don't have to be a doctor to see President Baba-Ahmed Tinubu. I, as a physician, I look at you now, I, as a physician, everybody looks at him. What we see as doctors is that he's older than the 73 years he says he is. So? Absolutely.
He's older than 73?
Absolutely. He should be 84, 85.
Really?
Absolutely.
Wow.
You can't hide age.
You can tell that by me.
You can't, yeah, absolutely. You can't look at me and say I'm in my 30s or 40s. No. So we look at him, he's older than the 73 years he says he is, absolutely. Wow. I have an older brother, my eldest brother is 74, 75. He definitely looks much, much healthier than our president. So our president is ducking his age. He's not 73. I had 10, 12 years more. Oh, really? You could see that, absolutely. Wow. You could see that. And look at the way he is. You see him, you see his, look at what happened in Turkey. He didn't trip. Look at the way he's walking. You cannot hide age. I mean, look, age, we all age, and it is an honor and privilege that's not given to many. Exactly. Right? And health. Anybody can be sick. Anybody can be sick. And he's not the first president that came into that office with health challenges. presidents in the United States, vice president in the United States, they came with health issues. President Kennedy came with health issues, and you could see when he needed some boost and when you see that. But anyway, they want to hide that as personal, but you are not, you are our property now, citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Yeah, and that once every so often he goes to France for tuning up. You could see, and when he comes by, you could see him all. We wish him well. We wish him good health. All we're asking, he should be a better president than he is. We honestly are wishing him good health and prosperity. What we need is an honest leader. We are not seeing that in him. What we need is a compassionate leader. We are not seeing that in him. What we need is a leader that stands for what is right. We are not seeing that in him. And he has only 1 year to tidy up before he leaves Aso Rock in 2027. We wish him well. We wish him good health. But he's older than the 73 years he says he's 80, add 10, 12 years.
I'm worried because you are not just a physician.
No.
You're a professor of
And we've been around. I mean, God, I'm 70. I will be 66 in November. So age gives you some wisdom. You don't have to go to school. This gray hair, I didn't buy it anywhere. So we wish him well. But Mr. President, you've not governed this country with the milk of human kindness. You are not there. You are absent. Our people are being killed every day. You brought hunger in this land, and there's chaos. Nobody seems to be in charge. All you're interested is politics.
Prof, you touched on something that is very not necessarily a Nigerian situation. It's an African problem. As we speak here, the president of Cameroon, a neighbor to us in West Africa, Paul Biya, is in his 90s. And this is his eighth term. Eighth term. The oldest and the longest reigning president in the world, not just in the world, 42 years. He got to the office 1982, if my memory serves me right. What is this fixation with power with African leaders, that they would rather die? Because look at someone like President Tinubu, we're talking about him. Because I have to believe you, because you're an expert. You're an expert. So someone in his 80s, what are you doing? So can you speak to this?
No, it's this obsession of power is sweet in Africa. Whereas, look at the United States. By the time the president finishes his 2 terms, he comes out, he's all gray-haired. So much wahala. Look at Obama. I'm older than Obama, but he looks older than me. It's not an easy place. But here it's all cushy. You steal whatever you want, you do whatever you want, you don't care, nobody questions you, you want to be there for life, for them to pay your medical bills, for you and your family to keep stealing for, I don't know. Who wants to be there, for goodness sake? If you're honest with yourself, nobody wants to rush to be a leader. And if you're there, you want to do your part and leave, and you're aware. But there is this obsession. Look at South Sudan too. There is this Silver Care too. I think he had a stroke. He's also walking like that. There is this obsession. After a while, take a bow and move. This is why forever, Nelson Mandela will go down in history as a real leader. He did 1 term, left, and went back home to his village and spent the rest of his years. That's why everywhere in the world, everybody respects that name. But here you can spend $1 million on who respects Paul Biya? You're 80, 90, what are you doing there? Take a bow and leave. But this is the obsession because we don't ask questions. We don't challenge our leaders. Our leader wants to do 3rd term. Obasanjo wanted to do 3rd term until it was, and this guy will do 100 terms if we let him.
As President,
if we let him. And he'll continue to duck his age 10 years, but you can't fight nature.
Wow.
He's 83, 84, 85, around that neighborhood.
Wow.
Around that neighborhood.
Prof, let's let's pivot from that again. Peter Obi is a former deputy in the last elections, presidential elections. Yusuf Datti Baba-Ahmed came out a couple of days ago when he was joining the PRP, granted a short interview. and gave a scathing appraisal of his former principal, Peter Obi. He said quite a number of things, that were, quite uncomplimentary about his leadership. Essentially that you don't run away, stay and build and all of that. But then something he said about the ruling party, the APC, that struck me was that President Tinubu and Kashim Shettima, that ticket has done reputational damage to Islam. I know you've said it, but not in this way. You've alluded to it, that the Muslim ticket, you've said it over and over, it sings in my head like a cracked vinyl, that the Muslim ticket is a scam. How do you, is this the same thing, Yusuf?
Right, so I don't know what...
where is it coming from?
I don't know what Datti, but that's vintage Datti. He doesn't...
Shoots from the hip.
Yeah, he doesn't take...
Holds no prisoners.
But, okay, I've said it from day one when they did this the Muslim ticket. This was in August 2022. I wrote, people can go and Google it, APC Muslim ticket is neither for God nor country, but for self. Right? Well, they did the calculation and see. And President Baba-Ahmed Tinubu wanted to be President Buhari's vice president. But President Buhari resisted it because he said, Muslim is not fair, it won't fly. He wouldn't like it. Yeah, it flew when he was in the military, he and Idiagbon. Yeah. But in this, that was why he was angry, and he gave him the name of 3 people, and he picked Oshibajo, who was a pastor. So, because they were saying Buhari was right. So anyway. Well, here, President Baba-Ahmed Tinubu, a Muslim from the southwest, realized he needed somebody from the north. And him picking somebody from the north would not get him, a Christian from the north would not get him the required votes he needed from. So he needed to go into the Muslim constituency and pick somebody. So then it will be a Muslim ticket. Just like Abiola Kinkibe. Abiola Kinkibe was Muslim, and they won clean. All right? So, and then that was an easy sell to the Muslim north. And then it was sold by the Muslim clerics. There is one in Jos that up to tomorrow, is a diehard Muslim. Okay. So people are saying you want to use religion. You don't mess with religion. If you want to use God's name, make sure whatever your actions are godly. Right? If you come to me as a man of God, and I give you that respect more than I would give somebody that comes out of a bar drunk. I need to see your actions. The foundation that this ticket was sold to the ordinary person in the north was that this is a Muslim. So we want to see you do things according to what God said and taught us. We haven't seen that. So all they did was just a scam, use it. I knew from the outset, and I raised the alarm, but it was useless. But I wanted to be on record that I raised my voice when nobody else did. And that was what, of course, understandably annoyed the Christian North, including Boala. They all Boala, who else? Many people in the North, Christian North, they abandoned the APC. Yeah, Baba-Ahmed, they abandoned the APC because, look, you are saying, and this is them, I'm paraphrasing them, you mean there's no Christian worthy of being on your ticket in the North? And that was why they jumped ship. Baba-Ahmed has been a long-time friend of Peter Obi, but for that reason, of course, they abandoned that. That was a very easy catch for Peter Obi, who campaigned purely on religion. He was in churches all over this country, particularly in the north. And he got that, boom. And if he runs again, they will vote for him. They won't vote for Tinubu. They won't vote this Muslim. So what I said, Muslim ticket, number one was a scam. You're playing with God, you're playing with people, you're playing with our religion for your own good. And you did not represent our religion. For me, this is what I will say. And I don't know Datti. But for me, they have not represented Islam, and nobody there. And at that time, I told my Christian friends, there is not, and they knew, there is not a Muslim at that time in the north. They cheered this Muslim thing. Islam's foundation is justice, and they saw that as injustice, leaving a very large chunk of our population not included in this. It was unjust. And it's panned out. And there was no cleric, no real Muslim cleric or no LA that was clapping, oh, Muslim, we're going to get. And guess what? Go and ask northern Muslims today how market. That they gave this Muslim, they gave him 62% of his votes, total vote, 62% from the north. And the north is not Christian north, because Christian north gave their votes to Peter Obi. It is Muslim north, those 62%, that constituted Baba-Ahmed Tinubu's. And of the total 100% of Baba-Ahmed Tinubu's vote, 49, 50% came from the northwest. That's why I'm asking, where is he going to get, how is he going to fill this deficit? He's fought his constituency has, they've turned their back against him. He didn't win Lagos, where he comes from, but we voted for him in Katsina. Right? So if I hear anybody say, no, it's the South, give me a break. It was the North that brought the Southern Bola-Ahmed Tinubu. It was the North that brought Obasanjo. So the Southwest did not vote for him. Lagos did not vote for him. Katsina voted for him. It was after we voted for him, and now you say it's your son. No, he was our son before yours. Now we've given him back. So yeah, the point for me, this is what I always say, the Muslim ticket was neither for God nor country. It wasn't for the people. It was a scam, and it is not a representation of what Islam is. End of story. I've said this to many of our clerics, even from the outset, and I will continue to, and it's shown. Islam has never been what guides whatever they did. There's nowhere in Islam you make people hungry. You govern with this so much cruelty. This is not Islam, if this is what they came with. No, so they are not a good representation of what Islam taught us and what Islam said we should do. That's my interpretation. I don't know what my younger brothers did.
Let me ask you, Prof, while we're on this, what has happened between 1993 and 2023? You know, that's how many years? 30 years thereabouts? That's
10 years.
30 years.
Yeah, 30 years.
30 years. That a Muslim ticket in 1993, MK Abiola and Babagana Kingibe, was a non-issue. It was a complete non-issue. Abiola won in Kano, defeated Bashir Tofa soundly in Bashir Tofa's home state of Kano. There was no hula baloo about it was a Muslim ticket. How did that? We now come to 2023, and then it was because there was a big furore about this Muslim ticket. What happened?
Right, and the people all these Nadeko people that ran away, they were saying they brought, it's not true. The people that really fought and campaigned for him were predominantly from the north. You go and ask, there was a pre-1993, before, after, pre and post-1993. Those that fought and this thing, go and ask Sulalamido, where were all these Nadeko people when they were fighting to get Abiola elected? It was after they got Abiola elected, and then all of a sudden the Nadeko people grabbed him and say he's ours. No. And anyway, times have changed. Even in the north now, the 2026, 2027 north is more toxic religiously than it was in 2023.
Wow.
Yeah, with this Christian genocide thing, and with this bombing of Sokoto, right? With this narrative, this falsehood of Christian genocide, the Muslims are killing Christians genocidally in the north. And then they went and told Trump, and it's not the Christian in the north that went and told Trump. They were the ones campaigning. And then he came and bombed the north. And then all they want is for their political interests just to balkanize the North between Muslims and Christians. That's what Muslim ticket did. And that's what this Christian genocide did. For what? Just for their selfish interest. And he went to Jaws for 10 minutes, did he not? The president went to Jaws for 10 minutes, just 10 minutes.
Stayed at the airport.
Stayed at the airport, 10 minutes. Why did he go? So there were killings, right? Were Christians the only ones killed? Were Christians the only ones killed? He met the leaders, Christian leaders, and Christian victims at the airport. Not a single Muslim leader, not a single Muslim victim. The big Muslim cleric, St. Jos, they have the courtesy to call him. Spent 10 minutes and said, oh, I'm going to give 5,000 contract for 5,000 AI-enabled cameras. Unbelievable. When we were young, real leaders, when conflicts like this happen, leaders of that time, what they did would be to constitute commission of inquiry to find out the remote and distant, immediate and remote causes of these conflicts and see how they can bring communities together and involve elders. Well, President Baba-Ahmed Tinubu, his 10 minutes visit to the plateau essentially was, and this is what we all see it in the North, Muslim North. He just went there to find the embers of ethno-religious hatred in the plateau. In the plateau. Solved nothing. And we tell our brothers in the plateau, both Muslims and Christians, Tinubu will come and go. They don't solve the problems within themselves, bloodletting will continue. Just like in Kaduna, just like in Katsina, just like we all must get involved and not allow politicians to come and because he's doing that to get the votes of Christians in Benue and the Plateau and Taraba in the North. Essentially, that's it. It's not they love them. But I tell my Christian brothers in the North and sisters in the North, just ask your Muslim brothers how market. Like we gave him 62% of the vote. What has he done to us? We just use you and dump you. Just like he's done nothing for Muslims. They gave him 62% of his vote. Instead of being the commander-in-chief that will unify people, fighting communities, to see how can we bring peace. Now he's saying, I will. We've seen that. He's never visited anywhere in Sokoto, in Katsina, in Maiduguri, in Borno, where killings are going daily. Kwara is now all over, burning all over. Just yesterday, front page on Daily Trust, 24 killed in Katsina, Jikamshi, and that is the numbers that make the news. Many are killed every day. He doesn't care. But if 1, 2, 3 are killed in any of these Christian enclaves in the North, he goes there with the Minister of Defense, who is a Christian, who is there because he's representing the Christian constituency. He's there with all his Christian service chiefs and all that to show that Christians are genocidally killed, to take pictures and send to Riley Moore and this thing. But they have seen through that. They know.
Let me ask you, Prof, on insecurity, and I'm glad we're on the subject. Even taking the cue from the visit of the president to Plateau State, where even though he stayed at the airport, but he made a statement. He said, "This insecurity will be the last time. It will not happen again," and all of that. But barely a week after he visited, the spate of killings continued. Have we abandoned Nigerians to this spate of killings, heinous, barbaric killings all over? What's going on, Prof?
It's when you remember the current Minister of Defense, yes, General C.G. Musa, when he was the CDS. There were killings. There were killings in the village, Ginamantau in Malumfashi. The next day he was on TV, on channels, saying, "Oh, Nigeria should learn how to protect themselves, how to defend themselves." And I have a friend calling me. I said it in one of my appearances, calling me from America, saying, "Who is this general?" He went there in uniform. Who is this general? He says the CDS. I told him in America is the chairman Joint Chiefs. Yeah.
Service chief.
Chairman saying this. Yeah. Saying this. Say, dude, Usman, get out of town. He's telling you on your own. So we know for a very long time they've abandoned us. They will just come to Abuja and keep talking propaganda and saying things. And the terrible thing is, if this is what they are whispering to the president's ears, then we're in big trouble. This is a president who is not as concerned about security as he is in taxing Nigerians. We are abandoned, and people know that. People know that. And this is really sad, because that is the only constitutional responsibility of any government. Nothing else. They didn't ask you to go and build Calabar whatever, or Sokoto Badagry Road, but protect people. Security and the welfare of the people are the main responsibility of any government. Government doesn't do that, it has no business being a government. And this government has abandoned us long time ago. And people know that.
Prof, can you explain? You lived in America for many years. Can you explain to anybody, anywhere in the world, even to Nigerians, that as you and I speak here, there are over 417 Nigerians in captivity of terrorists or insurgents within Nigeria, and their captors do a video, put it on social media, where they're torturing, flogging these Nigerians, and our government neither can rescue them nor capture, these terrorists or what's going on?
Right, and these are the ones that make the price. There are hundreds all across the forest in this country. But I tell you, Nigeria and Trump's eyes on Nigeria, CPC, right?
Are you sure his eyes are on Nigeria?
I'm coming. If these captives, these 400 captives, were Christians, the Riley Moores and the Ted Cruz will make so much noise that this government will pay whatever. Did they not pay for how many billion and rescue, was it church worshippers or children, Christian missionary school? So these are poor Muslim captives that have no one to speak on their behalf internationally.
But if they, are we sure the identity? I'm sure.
If this were, and I'll tell you, if this were Christian, and we know that this is not, you and I, we don't, we say the way it is. This is the honest truth, and the government knows that, and all people in this government know that. All the security people know that. They are threatening, they are doing this if it were Christian hostages. Because the Riley Moores are looking at them. The Ted Cruzes are looking at them. They are looking at them. On that same day that they threw that bomb, the Christmas Eve that they threw a bomb in Sokoto, the Christmas Eve, hundreds were killed in a mosque in Maiduguri. Didn't make the headlines. Not in one of the news channels said, this many numbers were killed on Christmas Eve. To tell the Americans that all this has. So Trump threw this on Christmas Day. And I've always said a life is a life. Yeah. We're all God's creation. I went into medical school. All of us went into medical school to do good. When we see a patient, we don't ask, we don't care where you are from, your station in life, your color, your ethnicity, your religion. A life is a life. But lives are being lost every day. And the Americans are categorizing this as religious. Muslims are being killed hundreds every day. We don't ask as the Muslims, the Christians. Go to Ngoshe, all the women and children, they part from that village. Exactly. Nobody's talking about them. Woro, in Kwara State, in Kayama local government, all the women and children, the people they kill after slaughtering this many. Nobody is talking about them. The government is saying that. Well, guess what the president said? And even the Apabio. He said, all this is because of politics. This flare-up of insecurity is because of politics. Like politicians are the ones finding this. And Fabio, the Senate president, glibly said, all these things will die down 2 weeks after election. So this is what they are going to tell the president, his security chiefs, and number 3, the Senate president is telling, and he himself said that too. Then we shake our head and say we're in big trouble. But this is their mindset. Somebody is instigating the killings of innocent people. Well, who is that somebody? Is that not your responsibility? Don't you have a whole intelligence service, a military service to fish out that somebody, that politician? They've given up on us, fellow Nigerians. They don't care about us. They only take care of themselves. They are out there in France or wherever getting first-class medical care. Let me tell you this. I have a patient in Maiduguri, Borno State. He had a stroke. Right? I was shocked to learn that in the whole of Borno State, in the whole of Yobe State, northern Adamawa, there is only one consultant neurologist.
Only one?
One. Only one consultant neurologist, I was calling. Taking care of patients who have stroke and all the other things. And I was asking, he hasn't taken vacation now for 12 years. Since 2012. That is how many years? 14 years. 14.
So he himself is at risk.
I told him he's at risk. He's at risk. So what I'm saying, millions of people take care of. And I tell my people, even the richest person in this world, in this Africa, living in Nigeria, we are living in a medically risky environment. If you get severe head injury or massive stroke, if you get severe heart attack, if you get severe internal injuries from road traffic accident, where the window for intervention is very short, we're in trouble. You cannot be flown out. Our hospitals are where they are. This is where we train. I went all over the world, wherever I go, the best centers in the world, you see Nigerian doctors trained from here. Young doctors are leaving this country. There's a whole class in one university in the southwest, a whole class of 80-something that have all left the country. They're all leaving. They're not taking, what does it take to take care of our physicians and nurses? And it's not only doctors that are leaving. Nurses are also leaving too. Hospitals all across this country, we have the most excellent physicians still living and going through this and taking care of our people. Go to our hospital here. Many of them pay over 70% of what they get for power, electricity. Electricity. Patients buy needle, patients buy water, patients buy this. Well, there's a big solar, whatever, 10 billion they spend to take the villa off grid. There is not a teaching hospital in this country that has solar panels. They're operating, light goes off. A baby is on the ventilator, light goes off. A lot of their money they spend on diesel. Diesel today is $2,000 per 2,000 naira per liter. They don't have the money to do that. Nobody cares. Doctors are working hard in silence. Lecturers are working in silence because the government does not care about education, does not care about our health. Where our leaders of our time invested.
Prof, as we wind down, 2 more questions before we go. What's the single biggest threat confronting Nigeria right now, in your opinion?
The biggest threat is our threat to democracy by this government. Yes, we have insecurity, we have this, we have good government. The government will sit down and tackle this problem. But we have a government that is threatening our democracy. Where are you going to get a good government? Are we going to continue with the same government that doesn't care about this? We have insecurity. We have cost of living crisis. We have massive poverty. We have ethno-religious balkanization of the country. We have tribalism. We have nepotism. All this is a reflection of bad government. How are you going to get good government? Getting good government is going through the democratic process. We don't want things changed non-democratically. I've lived almost all my life under a military regime. We've had unbroken democracy for 26 years. It's not perfect. We want to make it better, but we have a president who is stifling democracy. by trying to see all the other parties are killed. He wants to be the only party presented. He wants to be the only candidate presented. He wants to corrupt everybody. Look at what he's done to members of the National Assembly. After using them for 3 years as rubber stamp, they've said nothing. Everything is happening. Whatever he says, I need a loan, boom, they give him in 2-4 hours. After using them, and he told them, when they went to ask for automatic tickets, no, go to your governors. Go to your governors. He's empowered the governors now, given them money, and sent these non-performing members of the National Assembly back to their young governors. Because he wants the governors to help him scoop votes. He's used the National Assembly. Many of them cannot go back home. They can't. We don't have good government. All these things cannot be solved. We cannot solve insecurity, the poverty has put us in, the hunger, the ethno-religious crisis, the balkanization, everything rallies around good government and good governance. Governance has stopped 2 years ago. It's an all-now politics. So, and we are saying, Mr. President, no opposition, there's not going to be an election. And we're going to fight this oppression your government is bringing.
Last question, Prof. Emir Sanusi, somebody you know very well, Sanusi Lamido, says, on the one hand, the president says, we've earned so much money, we've removed fuel subsidy, so we've raised so much revenue, and then so much revenue is given to the states. But on the other hand, you're borrowing so much money, so much debt is being piled up. President Tinubu's government has borrowed more money than every other president since 1999. Facts, data. So the question is, what are you doing with money? Why are you borrowing so much money?
Right. What I'm saying is that nobody is asking, and His Royal Highness Emir of Kano is asking the right question, and I think this is one of the questions that cost Wale doing his job. You're saying you told us you remove subsidy. After we remove subsidy, we have enough money. We don't need to borrow, but you've been borrowing daily. Where is the money we are saving from FIRS? Where is the money we are saving from NNPC? Where is the money from custom? All this money, and you are borrowing. Where is the money? And you have not implemented 2023, 2024, 2025 budgets. Where is all the money? These are questions we must interrogate. These are questions the president must answer. These are questions that go to the heart of the sufferings of our people. And the president... these are questions you must answer to us and to God Almighty. That all this money you're fretting and giving your friend in the state capture mission, the time will come when all this must be given answers. And I have no doubt. But my fellow Nigerians, 2027, re-electing President Baba-Ahmed Tinubu and APC will be suicidal.
To be suicidal?
Suicidal. Wherever you are in this country. Is your life better today than it was when the President Baba-Ahmed Tinubu came? Are we hungrier? Your salary going further than it went? How much is the price of fuel today? How much is your rent? How much do you pay school fees? How much do you eat? Our life is much, much worse than electricity. Guess what? Where is the Minister of Electricity today? He brought band A, B, C, whatever, made so much money that he's bragging that he's made so much money that he cannot be poor. He picked the ticket for APC governor's ticket in Oyo State. So he came to make money, and he made it, and he said it. And EFCC is there watching him, looking at him, and doing nothing. So yes, where is the money, Mr. President? We're not seeing the money.
Nice place to anchor. Where is the money? Where is the money? We'll further interrogate this. But always a pleasure having you, Prof. Nice having you once again. I'm sure we'll see.
Thank you very much. Thank you.